So in this image here, we have this roof that's being kind of held up by these pillars, and it could be like that solar roof that's kind of high in the sky. So how do we model something like that? So let's go to Revit. And the first thing I'll start off with is a roof. So we're just going to go to our roof button here, and we're going to create a roof. We're going to add it to our level 1, which is our level above. And we're going to draw a roof here. So I'm just going to draw a square or a rectangle of some shape. We're going to turn off the slope on 3 lines, and we're going to leave it on 1. We're going to make this slope pretty low. Let's make it a 5 degree. And we could just make sure we change this. We could change this to be, let's go to slope. If it's easier, we can change this to be ratio to 12, like that. And we could change it to a 212. 212 or 112 are great for flat roofs. And so let's just look at this in 3D. So we have this kind of roof. There's kind of a slight slope to it. And so the next question is, how do we hold it up with those kind of tree-like pillars? And that's definitely a bit more of a complicated thing to do. What I usually start with is 1 pillar. So let's go up into structure, columns. And we're going to go, and here we have this universal column here. And when we place that column, because up here it was set to depth, we don't see it. So let's change that to be height. Let's change our height to be level 1, and we can draw that. And if I go back to my 3D view, we're going to have this 1 column below. We're just going to delete that. And what I find is maybe a little bit more useful when you're doing this kind of thing is I'm just going to create another level. So I'm just going to copy this up for a second. And it doesn't really matter where for right now, but we'll just do level 2. And so the next thing we want to do is we want to create those slanted columns. And so to do those slanted columns, we could do column, but over here you see there's a button that says slanted column. And so we're going to use that, and we're going to change our first click to be level 1 and our second click to be level 2. So it's going to click 1 at one level, click another at another level. So that's a really easy way of doing it. And so let's just implement that. So we'll click there, and we'll click here, and then we'll click here, and then we'll click here. And so now when we look in 3D, we kind of have these 4 columns kind of going all over the place. And I'm just going to hide these levels. Actually, I'm just going to go to VG. I'm just going to go to levels and just turn them off so I can see a little bit better. And so we have these levels here. And so with this, we can drag this over to somewhere and try to get it close. But that's a little bit difficult to do. One of my tricks with structure in particular is I often actually like to look at my ceiling view. And the reason why I look at my ceiling view, I'm actually going to go to my level 0 ceiling, is because your ceiling, you're looking at 4 feet and you're looking up. And so what we just need to do here, we actually don't see anything, but what we need to do is adjust our view range. So let's adjust our view range, and we'll adjust it to be unlimited. And when we adjust this to be unlimited, we're going to see our whole roof. The next thing you're going to note about our ceiling is we don't see any columns. There could be a few reasons for that. First, could be we want fine detail on, and that actually appears to be the problem. The second is typically in ceiling plans, structural framing is off by default. That doesn't really affect columns in our case, but it would affect beams. So I'm just going to turn that on just to be safe. And so now in the ceiling view, we can kind of move these columns to be kind of in roughly the right space for that. And here, these columns, they're actually too high, so we want to fix that. So let's just go back to our 3D view now. And so you can see how these 2 are actually sticking out. What we can do here is we can change our top offset to be 0. So I think that's going to fix the 1 column. So now the 1 column's below. This one we want to set to 0 as well. And then these ones we can do the same, but these 2 we're going to do negative. So we can do negative. Let's just try negative 300 for a second. That's not enough. Let's go to negative 500. And so now we kind of start to have this structure And then, I mean, even these ones, we could raise these ones so they kind of disappear into the actual framing itself. So maybe we go to 500 for this. Maybe that's too high. Oh, that's perfect. And then obviously with these, we could change the column type by loading in different columns. But that's how you could create this kind of tree-like column structure to hold up your building. So I think the key is using ceiling plans, because I think ceiling plans just make it really easy to see that kind of stuff. So yeah, that helps. Is there anything else you want me to go over with that?
I have the curved walls, and the exterior walls they're not curved. Even how do I make the roof like for that? Do I just?
I mean, the curved walls I think are pretty simple. So you can just draw with curves here. So you can have whatever, and then you can have straight walls that are around the perimeter of this. And then for your roof, because you have this kind of towering structure above, what I would do is I would take all these walls and I would extend them to my level 1. But maybe what we'd want to do is extend them up a little bit higher. So maybe we'll go up maybe 600 millimeters above level 1, which we would then really need to adjust this roof height. So this roof height probably should be at level 2, and these we probably want to extend these all up quite a bit. So I'm not going to do that right now. Actually, maybe I'll just do that. Just do that 2 or 2,000. See if these go all the way up. Yeah, so they're kind of up there. So now our roof sticks up above. And then what we can do is we can do a roof. We'll just do this flat roof at level 1. And because we raised our walls up 600, we kind of have a parapet there. And so it kind of hides our roof profile. And so we can do roof flat like that. And then we can use the pick wall tool and just pick all these walls. Turn off the slope. And hit our check mark. And it cannot make footprint. Why can we not make footprint? Oh, it did not turn off the slope. Turn off slope. Yeah, so now we have that kind of flat roof inside of that. The parapet kind of hides it. But then we have this slope roof that maybe has solar panels or whatever, kind of towering above to hold everything.
So for this wall, we did not extend them, but we added a top offset.
Yes, correct. Okay. Yeah. We just added a top offset, so of 600. Okay. Yeah, and the same concept would be true for curtain walls. So if you wanted to have glass, the one thing we went over in Revit class is if you want to have curtain walls, you can do a curtain wall inside of a wall and it overrides it. So what I would do for that is take a wall like this. I'd paste to the same place, and then change this to be storefront. And then what I would do is I would lower this to be negative 400, so it's below the top. And it looks like these walls are not overlapping, it looks like they're not overriding. But what we would do is if we use our arrows here, it should, if we move it out maybe, it's not overriding. It might be just doesn't want to override the curved wall. So the other approach to that would be you build the curtain wall in where you want it to be, and you take the curved ones are actually going to be very difficult. But what you could do with this is maybe go change this to be negative 400. So you're basically just doing the parapet at the top, and then you're using the curved for the glass in the corner.
So what did you do the last step? You did.
Yeah. So. The curtain wall I copied, so the curtain wall is hidden inside here. So what I did before was I grabbed this, actually maybe I'll just do this. I'll go forward, reset. Make this level 1, negative 400. I'll do this on another wall. So that goes into there. And then, so maybe we'll take this curve here. Let's copy it. And instead of pasting, let's actually do that other step first. So let's go to base offset. Let's do it -400. And we'll change our base constraint to be this. So essentially, we're taking the top of the wall. We're saying go up 600 and down 400. So we're just kind of creating that band at the top. And then I would say for pretty much everybody that's doing curtain walls, this idea is really nice because you wouldn't really have your curtain wall go all the way up all the time. I mean, you can, but it's not practical. So we'll paste in the same place. So this is that same wall, but this time we're going to go -400 here. And then we're just going to change this wall to be our storefront. And so now we have kind of glass on the inside. So.
And last question. Because my entrance is from the middle, I don't have any fencing, railings, or anything like that. It's kind of open because I have my common area in the center. So that's okay, right?
Yeah,
I don't have to do anything because I wanted to keep it open.
Yeah, as long as it's meeting like railing requirements. So if the platform or the walkway is not more than I believe 2 feet above the ground, you don't need a rail.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should be fine.
Yeah.
And because I'm gonna have an indoor cycling station.
Yeah.
And to show the interior, I would do it just like how you did the camera top view section.
Yeah.
So I'll just create a section in my cycling station room, right?
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.